Hello YouTube, it's Lion here with Hobbies of a Man once again, and today we are doing another book review. Now today we're going to be reviewing Chimera King, written by Atlas Kane, published by himself on Amazon. You can get it for free. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can rent it out, or if you want to buy it, I think it's $4 or $5, I can't remember. And yeah, the genres here are lit RPG and harem lit. I call this a lit RPG more than a harem lit because the video game aspects are actually rather meaningful to the story. And obviously this is a fantasy, if you could not tell from the cover. That's not a normal person. And they're in the jungle setting. But yeah, so the premise here is that this down on his luck war vet from the Iraq War, if I remember correctly, gets reincarnated into the last world. This special place ruled by the gods where you have leveling systems and stuff. After a selfless death, he sacrifices himself for someone else, and the gods decide that he is worthy of reincarnation. So, kind of like an isekai, but a little bit different. And yeah, ready to enjoy a life of adventure in this last world. He sets out, to go, but things turn out to be not as well as he thought. So he must take charge and save his new home. So it's a really cool story. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really nice. I'm not gonna say it's the best written thing in the world, and I do think that I understand that the author went through several heavy rewrites of the series, but that might have actually caused some of the hiccups that I had along the way. But overall, I think it was a really good story. I really enjoyed myself with it. So we're gonna evaluate this the same way I always evaluate stuff, and then I'll tell you some of the issues that I had at the end. So the plot line here, it's good, it's easy to follow, and it's par for the course of, harem lit and lit RPG and kind of like isekai stuff. Like I said, someone dies, they get reincarnated, they go on an adventure, and he has to save the world, more or less. So, the key plot points, without giving anything away, is a reincarnation, assimilating into this new world, going on a quest, which in this case is a little bit different from what it usually would be, since the person that he gets a quest from is actually the bad guy. So it's kind of interesting. A couple big battles, and then set up for the next book. And it's actually really well done. The elements of storytelling that are present here are really well done. The sections of story that connect to each other are also really well done. It's just a little bit of the execution sometimes is messed up, but it's not very big. Like, you won't ever feel like you're lost and stuff. It's just kind of like, sometimes it feels like there was jumps from one scene to the next without any transition in them. And that can work if you put a page break and then a symbol, and then you continue, and it clearly shows, hey, we changed scenes. But it's within the same scene. There's action happening in one location and then another, but there's no transition from one location to the next. And that, I assume that has to do with the fact that he had to rewrite a bunch of sections, and then I guess he didn't go through and make sure that it all flowed together, which, it happens. So I don't really fault it, because it's not really that big of a deal. It's just, since I was reading to review, I was looking at all the issues, and that was kind of the one that showed up to me. So overall, really good stuff. I enjoyed myself reading this. I'm not going to say I did it, because I really did. But there were some issues, and that's just par for the course. It's normal to have issues if you're doing everything on your own, and you're not like with a traditional publisher that can really fix your issues for you. It happens. So, the game lit elements are good. The lit RPG, which is a leveling system, a system for your weapon, different types of information setups where you look at something, you scan it, and then you get all the information that you need from it, all that type of stuff. Really well done, worked. However, there was times where it took a back seat, and it was a little weird because the first half of the book was really heavy on the game lit, and then as soon as you get into the more character driven stuff, it kind of takes a back seat. And I guess it makes sense in the sense that hey, the characters are not focusing on the game element, they're focusing on each other. Why would they continuously check? But if your world is going to be a video game world, you have to make sure to make those video game elements always be present. And sometimes it just wasn't. There was a long stretches of time where the video game element just was not part of the equation, which again leads back to the same thing I was talking about with the rewrites that he had to do. So it's just a thing that I noticed. It's not particularly bad. You don't really care too much while you're reading. It's just something I noticed because I was looking for problems. But overall, pretty good. That's really it for the plot line. It's all right. So the characters here, they're good. All of them are interesting to varying degrees. None of them is boring. None of them is bad. I'm pretty interested in all of them. So we have Cade, who is our main character. Like I said, he was a vet. He had a really rough life on Earth, but then when he makes it to Last World or whatever, Tariel, I don't know what the place is called. He really enjoys his second chance. All of his emotional trauma kind of goes away and it kind of resets. He remembers everything and he can like deal with stuff, but he's no longer bogged down by, you know, the crippling depression and PTSD and stuff that he suffered from the war. And it's really, you know, good for him. Like I can empathize and appreciate, you know, having a weight like that lifted off your shoulders, even if I have never had to deal with it. So pretty good stuff from him. Now we have 3 important ladies, you know, his harem. And we have lady number 1, which is Quetzal or Quetzal. I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to pronounce it. Her name reminds me of Quetzalcoatl, like the Mayan dragon thing. And there's another thing in this book that also has the second part of that, the Coatl part. So I guess he just liked that word a lot. I'm not really sure, but I like her name a lot. And she's like this purple demon person. She's like descendant from Beelzebub or something, which was really cool. I quite enjoyed it. But she's trapped against her will by the bad guy, and she has to like serve him. She's love interest number 1, and a lot of the story focuses on getting stronger to save her, which is really nice. Then we have Vormer, which is the bad guy. He's like this golden lion man kind of thing, which sounds pretty awesome, but he's such a horrible person. And it's kind of interesting, the way he's characterized as like, his world is about the strong taking what they must and the weak being taken advantage of because they're weak and stuff. And that kind of fits with the whole like golden lion thing that he has going on. Like you could associate greed and power-based society to lions really easily, and it really works, and I enjoyed that. But the guy is a horrible person. I really hate his character, which is really good. You're supposed to dislike the bad guys. Really well done. Yeah, so then we have the two other ladies, which are Minda, who is this beastkin. She's the one on the cover for this book, which is really nice. I really like how she looks. She has white fur. She has these like bunny-esque ears. And she's a very vivacious character. I really enjoy the way she interacts with Cade. The heaps of energy that she has. It's really cool. I really enjoy her character a lot. She's probably my favorite out of all the characters here. And I really enjoy the way she's characterized. I think Atlas Kane did a wonderful job with her. And our last lady here is Satemi, who I guess she's like a Neanderthal or an Amazon or like some sort of primitive human, I think. I'm not really sure. She comes from a different world than Cade, but she's not like... She still looks like a human. She's just really muscular, and I think her teeth are slightly bigger than his, but like her canine teeth are slightly bigger, but I'm not really sure what the difference is. I'm going for Amazon because that kind of fits with her character, but I'm not really sure. And she's all about duty and honor and like really serious. But I really like her character as well. I don't think I like her as much as Minda, but she's pretty cool. And I like the interactions that she has with Cade, and she kind of fits with Cade in like they both have military experience. They both understand survivor's guilt and like all of these different things that you would only understand if you've been in war. And Minda kind of functions as, you know, taking Cade back to before he was there, and like all the female characters work really well with Cade, and I really like that. I really appreciate it. But yeah, clear, lots of cool stuff. Like the interactions that they all have are really good. Even with Vormer, even though he sucks, the interactions he has with Cade are very well done, very well categorized or characterized. Sometimes Cade is a little too like dramatic when it comes to Vormer, but overall it's, you know, pretty good. The world building here is really good. Makes a lot of sense. The elements of you know, video game playing are really clear and understood, and it really functions well. It doesn't feel like annoying, because sometimes you're reading a lit RPG story and it's like, okay, you don't have to tell me that much detail about all of these video game things. You just have to tell me the basic stuff and I'll understand. And, you know, Atlas King did a really good job balancing out between, you know, the elements of gamelit and the elements of storytelling when they were together. Like I said earlier, he did kind of let the gamelit aspect take a backseat, and that kind of was a bit wrong in my opinion, but you know, it's fair. I understand what he was going through, going for, and how it kind of works and the reasons why that might happen. It's just, you know, part of the review process being like, hey, this is what's wrong, so I have to let everyone know. But yeah, so it's clear. There's a lot of cool stuff. There's a few questions I have about how the gods have power over this world, because this last world is like where the gods get to have fun, and that's where all the weird creatures and all the different types of species of people and stuff happen. And apparently one of the gods is just like, you know what, I want to make this my exclusive playground. I'm gonna do what I want, and I'm gonna, you know, use agents on the ground to like do whatever I want. So it's kind of interesting, but it does raise a bit of questions, like, is art, like, which one of our gods is the one that's, you know, there? Like, is it God from Christianity, or is it Zeus, or, you know, whatever? I don't think it really matters, like, in the sense of like knowing an answer is going to change anything, but it's just kind of interesting. The lit RPG was really good when it was being used, which is fair. Good stuff. Now the art here, well, there's none besides the cover, but I do really like it, and I do want to say that this cover is better than the original one, although the original one was a bit more interesting to look at because you get to see the three women in the harem really early on, so you have a good frame of reference. However, I do like these versions, although I do think Satemi got shafted because she doesn't get a cover. But, you know, whatever. But the art was really well done. So, yeah. Fan service. The fan service here, the sex scenes, the smut was really good. Really well done. A lot of it was meaningful and passionate. I really enjoyed myself reading it. I think it worked really well, and I'm really happy with Atlas King's work in this area. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. I think this is a really good story, and if you're trying to get into haremlit and you like, you know, cool fantasy, this is a really good one for you. So yeah, now similar titles, I guess Tamer, King of Dinosaurs might be the most similar thing that I can think of. It's also the only one that I've read that actually has any relevant, you know, gamelit aspects. I haven't read much that does have any like gamelit aspects besides Tamer, so that's the only similarity I have here. Although I do think the transition in the story between a quest-driven game to a resource-developing game, or like structure game, I don't know what they're called, like the ones where you build stuff like Minecraft or Ark, was really cool, and that kind of fits with Tamer as well. Tamer does the same thing, so that's the most similar title that I can think of. So if you like Tamer, check out Chimera King. You'll probably enjoy it. So yeah, that's it for me. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought. And yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and see you guys later.